Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. I'm your host, Top Hat King, and today we are going to be delving into a game that has been banned so many times by Roblox, but it just keeps coming back. So join me for another video, but fair warning my fellow comrades, this roulette is about to get deadly. So before we actually step into this video, just a quick subject warning. If you're not comfortable with stuff like self-harm, don't watch this video. Russian roulette does deal with self-harm, so I don't want to cause issues with that with anybody who might be uncomfortable with that. If you're not comfortable with it, go instead watch any of my other videos. No one's gonna blame you. Just go watch another video if you're not comfortable with it. But for those that are, continue watching, and just be aware that Russian roulette is gonna be talked about. Russian roulette is a game that is quite brutal. We don't really know when it's from or from where. Despite it having Russian in the name, it's actually kind of a theory that it isn't even actually Russian. But that doesn't matter because the game is not changing depending on where it comes from. The game is fairly simple. You get a revolver, you put a bullet in the chamber, and then you roll and fire. The game begins, and the main way to win is to just not die. Yeah, no, this game is fairly simple and very deadly, which is why we'll put it on the do not try this at home list, which realistically you should never try this at all because it has happened and occurred several times in real life, and it has the results that you expect. I'm not gonna lie. Because of the concept of the game, it's pretty obvious that Roblox would, ban it, and several Russian roulette games have been in previous years, with the most notable one having been banned a little less than 2 years ago. However, despite that, there still exists a number of games that include this concept and keep the gore coming, with them typically ban evading in an attempt to keep this game alive. But why? What makes this fairly simple concept so compelling that people just keep bringing back Russian roulette every single time on Roblox? Well, while I can't speak for everyone, I can speak for what I've gathered when actually playing these games. And trust me, it's a pretty fun game. Part of the fun when playing these games is honestly the rush of adrenaline you get from, the luck factor. In Russian roulette, you being lucky just means that you survive another round, while being unlucky means you get your, you don't really get to play the game anymore. That's the least we could say. It's because of this concept that I think a lot of people get a rush of adrenaline or get anxious or just feel a very strong emotion when they actually start playing this game. Because it's just, when you roll or fire the chamber, everybody wants to live to make it to the next round, but at the same time, everybody just wants everyone else dead. It's literally a game of who can last, because you're gonna have to do it again and again and again, and hope that every single time you're just as lucky as the last, because if you slip up, you are done for the game. That is it. And the funny thing is that this concept of, this rush of adrenaline is pretty common in other games that utilize the partial concept of Russian roulette, but don't oof yourself. So it's kind of similar, but you'll get why. A good example of this is Breaking Point, which if you haven't played that game, I'd honestly be surprised. But in Breaking Point, the base game just called Breaking Point deals with whomever having the revolver being able to oof someone from the table. It's a game of chance because the revolver can go off and the revolver might not go off. And if it doesn't go off and you were planning to kill somebody, well, good luck with that awkward interaction, because when they get the revolver, they probably won't be so kind to you. But it's the very same feeling that everybody wants to live to make it to the next round while hoping that everyone else dies. So how come games like Breaking Point and this concept are allowed while Russian roulette is not on Roblox? Games like Russian roulette are not allowed on Roblox, so games like Breaking Point can safely pass because... Well, it's mainly because of how the game is played. Because of Breaking Point, you aren't really, offing yourself, and it also isn't as gory as the Russian roulette games. Like, Breaking Point instead has you end someone else. And because of that, based on a technicality, it's not Russian roulette, because Russian roulette involves you, doing it to yourself. Even when the ideas and the same emotion from that luck is very similar. I think another reason why Russian Roulette is so popular on Roblox is just the fact that it gets banned so often. Finding games like Russian Roulette and Robio and playing them makes you feel like you're doing something you're not allowed to, and for some reason, a lot of people just like doing that. I mean, if it wasn't for games like Robio, like this kind of concept of, you know, playing something you're not supposed to wouldn't be as popular as it is, despite the fact that it is not allowed by Roblox. However, different from Robio, it seems that Russian Roulette has been able to be partially successfully clamped down on Roblox, as there's only really 2 Russian Roulette games on Roblox now, and they receive very little current like players when compared to the Roblox Hydra Robio, where if it gets banned so often, there's like 30 million copies of Robio on Roblox the next day. Another reason why it's so popular is just the fact that you can't play this game in real life. I mean, you can. And there's a modified version of Russian Roulette where you just hold a revolver and, you know, you fire up into the roof or to the sky, which it can be pretty problematic depending on where the bullet goes, but, you know, it's still illegal and it's still very deadly regardless. The big problem with Russian Roulette is just the whole, you know, offing yourself concept, because even though there is a modified version in some Russian Roulette games, the whole concept of Russian Roulette is that it's deadly and that you're supposed to die. So even this modified version is very, very controversial on Roblox, because if they allow that, then it opens a lot of questions as to what could be allowed on Roblox, what can't be allowed on Roblox, and if it counts as like self-harm, if it counts as something else. It just opens up a big can of worms that Roblox really would not want to deal with, especially when it comes to having to deal with the response from parents or from other people within the community allowing these games, or their stance on allowing these games. And because people can't really do this in real life, you know, most normal people wouldn't do this in real life. Typically, people would want to opt to playing a fictional version of Russian Roulette so as to not risk, you know, putting your life on the line. And instead, you can just put your virtual Lego character's life on the line, because that's just kind of fun. So if it gets banned so often, why do I call it a game that haunts Roblox? Well, it's because despite it not being as popular as it was back then, the very similar playstyle Russian Roulette has simply been used in a different manner, and games that have Russian Roulette were able to gain immense popularity on Roblox, which has a young player base and young demographic, making it necessary for the Roblox mods to react and take them down, or God forbid, get in trouble with parents and other groups that don't really like Russian Roulette. And it's for this reason that when a Russian Roulette game comes out, Roblox responds fairly quickly, lest they be subject to disgruntled parents and maybe even the media, as they have been typically before. But given the fact that they have a lot more things to worry about, yeah, I can see why they would get rid of them. They're also a fairly easy game to get rid of, considering that even some of the Russian Roulette games that are currently out literally just have the name Russian Roulette in them. And bada bing bada boomba, they get banned relatively fast. Hell, the footage you're watching right now came from a Russian Roulette game, and I just realized while recording that it's not even on anymore. They literally just got rid of it 1 or 2 days after I played it, so there's that. So like I'm saying, Russian Roulette haunts Roblox because they have to respond quickly, or else, you know, they're gonna get into big trouble with people. with their investors, quote unquote. So in conclusion, Roblox fears Russian Roulette. I miss Russian Roulette, and there's a whole lot of fun to be had when playing fictional Lego Russian Roulette. The fact that it will always be a game that will just haunt Roblox, and like I said, a game that they will very quickly react to when found out, even when it's not at its prime anymore, is pretty funny. I mean, they have bigger problems to deal with, but Russian Roulette comes first. And like I said, I wouldn't try this in real life, but like, you know, it's kind of fun when you do it on Roblox. I just want that rush of adrenaline playing this game. But anyway, very short video, I know, but I just wanted to get back into the swing of things. I've been Top Hat King. I know it's been a month, but I've just been trying to do some personal stuff. And yeah, I mean, but I do hope that for this month, I will be able to make a lot more videos. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for your patience. A new video will probably be coming out fairly soon. But I've been Top Hat King, and I will see you in the next video.